He's best known for calling for the killing of Palestinians and the rallying cry, "Death to Arabs." He's led far-right Zionist mobs in Sheikh Jarrah, where residents were harassed, attacked and evicted, and repeatedly stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque. But despite his dangerous acts and ideas, Itamar Ben-Gvir has won big at the Israeli elections and is becoming a major influence in the country's politics. Here is what you need to know about him. The son of a secular Jewish Iraqi father and a Kurdish mother, Ben-Gvir first came to infamy as a teenager when he threatened then Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin on television and flaunted a Cadillac emblem he's stolen from his car. Far-right Jews then were unhappy that Rabin signed agreements with Palestinian leadership as part of the Oslo Accords. 2 weeks after Ben-Gvir vandalized his car, Rabin was assassinated. Ben-Gvir adopted radical right-wing views during the First Intifada. His views were so extreme that Israel exempted him from mandatory military service. Instead, he joined a right-wing youth movement affiliated with Moledet, a party advocating for a greater Israel, where all Palestinians would be forcibly sent to neighboring Arab countries. He later joined the more radical Kach and Kahanism parties that called for the nullification of Israeli citizenship for the state's Palestinian citizens. Ben-Gvir is a self-described disciple of extremist rabbi and former Knesset member Meir Kahane, who founded the Kach party. And even though the Kach party was eventually designated as a terrorist organization and outlawed in 1994, its racist ideology still looms over Israeli politics today.
He never since disowned Rabbi Meir Kahane or his legacy. In this passive regard, he's part of that racist legacy, but he was never caught saying anything like that publicly himself. That is why he remains within the political arena, and in recent years also much more firmly within it. Initially, he could hardly enter its margins, and then, thanks to Netanyahu's personal involvement, he managed to enter the legislature.
In 2007, Ben-Gvir was convicted of incitement to terrorism and support for a designated terrorist organization. This led him to being blocked by the Israeli Bar Association from completing his law degree, but after multiple appeals the decision was overturned. And as a lawyer, Ben-Gvir defended radical far-right Jewish extremists suspected in cases of terror and hate crimes. For nearly a decade, he tried to enter Israel's parliament, but his party, Otzma Yehudit, never made it past the 3.25% threshold needed to claim a seat. His attempts at joining the right-wing Knesset list under former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett were initially quashed because of his long-standing support for convicted terrorist Baruch Goldstein, who in 1994 attacked the Ibrahimi Mosque in Hebron, killing 29 Muslim worshippers. Ben-Gvir famously hung a photo of Goldstein in his living room, which he eventually removed to improve his chances of forming political alliances. At the advice of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he joined the religious Zionism slate with Bezalel Smotrich's National Union Party and became a Knesset member in 2021. That year, Ben-Gvir moved his parliamentary office to a yard next to a Palestinian home in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah, where residents were being threatened with eviction by settler groups. He was seen leading groups of settlers in several confrontations with Palestinian residents. During his election campaign in 2022, Ben-Gvir made headlines after drawing a pistol in Sheikh Jarrah and calling on police to shoot a group of Palestinian protesters. He then proposed a bill calling for disloyal Palestinian citizens of Israel and anyone who calls Israeli soldiers war criminals to be expelled. An online poll held in August by a local radio station found nearly 2/3 of Israelis supported the bill. Then came a shock win in Israel's legislative elections. The religious Zionism faction, which now included the extreme anti-LGBT Noam faction, won 14 seats, making it the third largest party in the Knesset.
מבקשים לעשות הפרדה מוחלטת בין מי שנאמן למדינת ישראל ואין לנו שום בעיה איתו לבין מי שחותר תחת קיומה של המדינה היקרה שלנו.